All right, so today let me minimize that. Today we focus on like gift card, pay in, payouts, closeout procedures, and then the other order functions that we haven't gone over. We've kind of been in, mainly the bar and the dining room. So today we're going to cover the like delivery, takeout, counter, stuff like that. Okay. Um, so the first thing we're going to look at, actually, let me minimize this here because we're going to dive right into back office. I knew it. Every time I double click it, I know I double clicked it and that's what it does. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to cover is paid in and paid outs. You have some messaging that you can set ahead of time to kind of categorize your paid in and paid out. So it's in the miscellaneous section under where it says dollar paid and quick messages. Okay, so we went over this where it's like don't make, and here's our over under reasons, and we're going to kind of do this in a second. We're just going to skip over to paid in and paid outs. So you see here there's some, just plain, it says, paid in, and this one says paid out. But let's say I want to add, some more to that. Like I might add one that says paid out, and it's supplies. So like you ran out of hamburger buns and you need to send somebody over to the store to get some more. So that would be a paid out. Now you might add another one since you have the supply run as a paid out and you're setting the amount. So you want to do a paid in for that saying, supply change. So, and let me just go, I'll show you what that looks like in SoftTouch. So let's just save that and we'll pop this open. And I actually Z'd out yesterday so that you see the date is finally correct. So for the paid in and paid outs, and you see it on these where all of these are kind of describing what's in there. So this one says right here, paid in, paid outs, refund, money transfers. It's basically all your bank management. Okay. So you have your paid in and paid out buttons here. So this is something that the manager would do, or the owner, like you set these up in permissions, like who has got these pages. So I'm going to do a paid out. And so now you see the ones that I created. There's the general paid out, the one that was just blank. And then you have paid out supply run. So now I'm going to say, okay, I'm sending him with $15. And I can hit enter and it's going to verify, like, say you want to pay out of the till $15 for supply run, you say yes. So now it's going to put a line item on this till saying that I took $15. Now, if you remember from the other day, this till was set to recurring mode at $200 at the start of every day. So now it says 185 because I just took out the 15 for the paid out. So now when they come back with the change, it's the same thing. Now you just do paid in supply, and you say, he came back with $8.24. Yep, You say yes, and now it's going to adjust the till. Now, when you see it here, this is just giving the till. Now, if you go over here to the journal, this is where you're going to see the details. So you're going to see that I took cash out and it was listed as a supply run payout. Then it's going to show you the cash in and that it was listed as a supply change paid in. So, and it's going to tell you who did it. So it's going to be in the journal as the paid in and paid outs. Okay. Oh, and you see here it started off the cash with the automatic paid in from the bank of the $200 for the till. So next thing we're going to look at is in that same section, but over under reasons. Now, setting up your quick messages for the over under reasons are not required. Now, you can put them there, but like let's say, the bartender gets to the end of the night and they're $4 short and they're logging in that they're $4 short, like you can have it set a reason or it just shows that it's short. But if you want to set up like some common ones would be like, this just says missing money. That's going to be like the generic, but it could be like a walkout, so you could have it, or found money. So they're all going to be there. You don't necessarily have to classify these as the over or under because this is during closeout and you're already doing the accounting. So if it's under, obviously, and there's a reason, it's going to be why they're missing money. So you can have walkout. If they're over, found money on the floor, there's not tons of reasons why it would be over unless they keyed something in wrong. But so that's where you set that up. And when we get to where we're doing the because we're going to cover closeout today too. When we get to when we're doing the closeout, I'll show you where these messages will pop up for you. Let me just add another one. Gave wrong change. So we have a few options in there. Now we're going to go into SoftTouch. I know the other day we made a new gift card. I'm pretty sure this was the number. There it is. Okay, so we have this gift card here. We're going to add some funds to it. Because we're going to use this card a bit. When we're going to go like into counter mode, we're going to, show a lot of the transactions. It has money, but just to show you how to add funds as well. So you can adjust the account up, you can say, okay, they're adding in cash, they're adding another 500. Yes. And then there you go. Again, gift cards show up as a paid in because it's, money paid in. It's like a future revenue, future liability, and so that's how they show up in there. Okay. Now, you know what? Let's go over the rest of those buttons in here too, because that's something that we do before we dive into all of the delivery modes. So I just want to go into a few of these buttons. Like we've gone in, this is just the general functions from the manager tab. You can reprint the last checks. You can, look at system information, launch back office, system reset. If you're going to do a system reset, um, I'll go over that when we do like some of the other closeout procedures. There's a password that goes with it. This is going to be where you could plug in your uh, video, like the training videos. And then you have some alerts shutting down the stations, and then exiting SoftTouch you can also do from here. The reports is the reports. We're going to go over those, but that's it. You have access to all of the reports that you have in back office are here as well. And then you have some just quick buttons for, commonly used reports. This is your all checks overview. We're actually in here a bit looking at open checks. You can reopen closed checks, future, offline. You see there's none in here now because this is a fresh day. There's no checks in there. I did the Z out at the end of the day yesterday. But we can pop back in there once we do some checks. We were just in the journal. The bank management for your paid in and paid outs are gonna show here. But this is also where you do a lot of your closeouts. We're going to actually look at all three of these and what they look like. And if you have it set, it's going to, show your, tips for who gets paid out if it's not automatic. You can also, this is going to fill up when we have, multiple employees. You can, verify their tip amounts, and that's something that you use to set up in back office as well. Customer and loyalties. This is, obviously we were just in here looking for the one we set up the other day. You can look it up by a number of different things. If you have, searching it by their card number, their loyalty number. Obviously, I don't have a swipe set up on this machine. You can create new loyalty accounts from here as well, just the exact same way as I set up the gift card. And then you have, when they're in there and they give you their loyalty card, you swipe it to apply that order to their loyalty. You can also add loyalty points, redeem them, and get their loyalty balance from here as well. Now, your accounts, this is going to be where your active, like, gift card accounts are going to be. They do operate a little bit different than the loyalty, so they are in separate screens so that they're not getting, if somebody has a loyalty account but they don't have a gift card account, that sort of thing. So they are separated. Your alerts, these are just going to be like your system alerts. And you have, your login. This is going to be something that you don't see I don't ever use it. Here's your internet browser. Again, you can set this up in your function buttons on your screen here to go directly to Chrome. This is where you can look and review all of your tip pool activity, as the manager. So it'll show your tip pools and the dispersions. Your time editor is also here. Let me just go punch somebody in so that let me see if I can. Okay, and now I'm going to punch back in as the manager. So you can adjust their punch-ins, their punch-outs. You just select who it is. So let's see, enter. You see here she punched in. I mean, it's not going to change it much because it was just a few seconds that after, but you can edit this if you want. You can edit the entry, delete it, add a break if they forgot to punch out for their break. If they forgot to punch in or out, you can do that, or you can just look at their whole punch card. This is where you can reset your punch cards, refresh. This is where you're managing all of the time editor. And this is also going to show you like on the tip sharing, like if they are doing dispersions in pools and you have it set to where they're only getting a weighted average, it's going to show you what fund, what job name, like, if they're, the bus boy and, when they came in and when they got out. So it shows you, their weighted dispersion. Employee management, this is going to show you who's punched in currently. That's a little bit different than the time card editor because you can actually go back and look at somebody's previous. So this is just going to look at your shifts and the people that are currently, this is the people that are currently punched in, and these are the people that are, say, on shift. Your stock maintenance, that's weird. Your stock maintenance, this is where you can set up, like you can add stock, or you can have it where 86 an item, you can undo an 86, you can modify how much is there. So let's say for bottled water, we want to modify the stock, and we say now we have 12 left. So it's going to show there that you have 12 left. In back office, I can show you where we also can make that be an alert if it goes under a certain number. You can also, like I said, undo and redo 86s from there as well. Your business closeout, we're going to go over in detail because there's a few different scenarios on how you do the closeout procedures. So actually, let's just go back into back office, and as far as in the stock maintenance. So what did I do? Bottled water. Okay, so here it is. I said I have 12 in there, and we can have it set up a warning when I hit 11. So let's just pop back over. See how it says 12? I am going to order one. We're just going to cash this out quick. And then we're going to go in and order it again. And now it's telling you that it's low. So now you've got the notification. You can do this for, anything. Some restaurants will do it like if they have like an item, not necessarily just like these that are coming like bottles of water, cans of soda, stuff like that. But let's say they have, certain item that, once it's sold out like a, serving of lasagna. They start off the day with 15 servings so that the servers know, they're not trying to order something that there's only, one left and you have 3 people trying to order it. So it just gives them a way to kind of keep track of stuff like that. And you can do that from SoftTouch. You can say, how many are left, but for the low notification, you have to set those, in back office. Then you set it to where like you can just set them all saying like how many do you want the notification of it being low in quantity, and then you can manage how many you actually have from SoftTouch itself. You don't always have to go into back office for that. So now we're going to peek at the closeout procedures. Okay, so you have a few standard closeout procedures. So, and some of these are kind of like preset buttons. So you have minimal closeout procedure that does not ask about the drop at the employee closeout. It bypasses that wait for approval step and goes right to the wait for drop. Okay, then you have another one that's called closeout with no manager intervention. So this one asks about the drop at the employee closeout. It bypasses the waiting for approval and goes to the awaiting drop. Now, with manager intervention, this one asks about the drop and it does not bypass waiting approval. And so it has to go through approval, awaiting drop, and then committing the drop. Then you do have one where it says commit at closeout, where it bypasses all of it and just goes to commit drop. And so let's first, let me just go show you where those tabs are again. We just kind of peeked at them in SoftTouch, but let's go back and look. Let's just send that order. And this is going to be in your bank. So you have your bank drops here. So this is awaiting approval, awaiting drop, and committed drop. So these are the things that we would look at for the bank closeout. So let's go back and look at the configuration on those. And we'll do this one first. So minimal closeout procedure. The only, and this is the thing, is the no manager intervention. These two are almost the same. Just one asks about the drop at closeout and one does not. Now I'm going to show you in back office, and this is going to be in the financials in the banks, right? So we'll do this, for the pockets. These are these auto commit to drop. That's the one that just bypasses everything and goes to that last screen. Auto tip deduction, payout employee tips at closeout that worked the bank. Ask for the till total at closeout. Have the manager authorize the drop at closeout. And this one actually trips people up a little because they assign the bank or whatever the money that they want the tips to come out of, and you say pay it automatically from this. Pay tips from this bank if the pocket doesn't have enough, right? So if you set this on their server report, it's going to show at the bottom on this one section that you don't owe anything, or not the server report, but the report where at the bottom, it'll say that you don't owe them anything for the tip, because if you look a couple rows up, it'll say that you paid out this much. And it looks like it's already paid, and it's because you have it automatically coming out of the bank. So if you leave this blank, it's going to say how much you owe the person at the bottom, and people seem to not get confused about that. So now you have all these settings. You can just customize however you want to do it. But you also have these preset buttons on the side here. So I'm going to just show you what happens to these checklists, like to these little check boxes. So if I say configure using the minimal closeout procedures, which is the one we have here in scenario 1, You click it, it says, are you sure? You say yes, it sets them, right? So I already had it set. You see nothing changed. Okay. Now we're going to configure using, cache management. This is the one that's without manager intervention, right? No manager intervention. It's almost the same. See, all it did was add the ask for the total at closeout. Okay, that's the difference. It asked them for the total. Now I'm going to do the same thing, configure it with manager intervention. Okay, this is going to be all of it. Now, the one where it's just auto commit to drop, like the one that has nothing, is just that. So let's go back to this one. This is what we're going to do. Okay, you see that the save button is gone because it double asks you if that's sure what you want to do, and then it commits those scenarios. Okay. So we're going to actually, let's start with this one. Change it up a bit. Only because I think it'd be better to have, see all of it. And then I can just tell you which ones it would skip if that were not the case. And who did I just do that on? I didn't see the person. I forgot. It's probably Susie Server. Oh, nope. That was my dealer account. Okay, perfect. All right, let's do it. No, we'll do this. Do this. Yes. And then this one, we'll do this. Okay. Now we're going to go restart SoftTouch. Pop quiz. What do I do here to restart?
7 zeros if you want to restart, 6 zeros if you want to shut down.
Okay, Paul, I know you know.
Hey, I'm just showing you that I'm paying attention, and I don't know where the other ones are.
1, 2, 3. I'm the same way. I'm like, I know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's absolutely correct. 57 times we've probably done this a day.
We have to hit the mic, so we're all here listening. Don't worry.
Yep.
Next time I'll answer wrong on purpose, and we'll see if anybody corrects
See
me.
if anybody corrects you. We'll know it. Okay, so now I have just restarted. So those changes have applied. So now we are going to do some transactions, give us some things to close out for both me and Susie Server, and then we'll see the different closeout procedures. So I think this is Susie Server. Yep. Yes, I want to clock in. Do you want to override? Yes, sure. Okay. Did you see that thing up there where it says an override is needed and then it said like something override and it was all together? Did you see that up in the corner? That orange little, just a little tip there. That little orange error, the word underneath it, just a little pro tip, that word underneath, if I had tried to override and I didn't have the permission, it would say you need this X permission in order to do it. That word underneath is the exact name of the actual permission in your security settings. So if they have something like that, like when you see like the override, like that one that it just asked for, that name that it popped up there is this. So it makes it real easy to search. Like let's say I just wasn't able to do that override. I would go to whatever job permission I have and I would make sure that that thing is enabled on me. And if it's not there, I would add it, and then I would be able to do whatever it was it told me I couldn't do. It's kind of like an easy way to fine tune the security permissions. Like when you set them up, they will run into something and they'll say, hey, we tried to do this and we couldn't. And if you just get that name, have them redo it and show you that little error, that's going to tell you exactly what to go add to that person's security settings. So you're not in here just trying to guess, because a lot of them look like they're named very similar. That will tell you the exact one. Just pro tip. All right, so Susie's server is now logged in, and oh no, that's right, we're not going to be in the dining room. We're going to, oh, I might have to log in the driver. What's the driver's login? Do I have a driver? I just want to make sure somebody is okay to, do delivery. Okay. There we go. Now we got everybody punched in. So let's get the cashier back in here, and we're going to take a delivery order. Let's do 5615551. 212. Let me just check one quick thing first. I'll be able to show you two things, and I just want to see if my delivery zones are set up. Okay, so I need an address in one of these two.
Hey, Joe, could you please turn off your mic?
I'm just adding a local store, just so I can show you how the delivery directions work also. So I just needed something that was in that zip code. Okay, the zip code is 33458. Yes. And let's put in the address. So 6330. In the examples like that they normally do in the training, they used to just use like, fake addresses and the and the registration on the demos were also just fake addresses, and I just wanted to be able to show how the driving directions work, and you can't do that unless the thing is, you know, licensed nearby and you're using a automatic, like an address that's also real for the delivery. So okay, so this is done. I have their address in, and I'm going to say, yep, okay, this is them. And I'm going to select that customer, and then we're going to pick what they want, and we'll just make it super simple. Payment means they're paying over the phone. Send means they're paying when, you know, like cash. And you can also tell the system how to treat those two types, like payment. Is it going to close out the check? Is send going to close out the check? That kind of thing. So we're just going to say they're using a Visa over the phone. Okay. There we go. Now, let's go over to the dispatch. So here it is. Here's the dispatch. Here's the order. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. There we go. So it's taking you from here, you know, it's telling you the, you know, like it basically takes you there and back. If I had put in, okay, so this is where my demo box is registered, right? So if I had put in 3 or 4 deliveries and then hit the get directions, it would say go from here to here to here to here to here. It would just take them all through. I think it does up to 5, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and you can also print this. See right there, print. So what you would do if you have this set up so it's not automatic, and I'll show you that in a second. So what you would do is you would pick the delivery that you want to send, and you assign it to whoever you want to assign it to. So in this case, I'm going to assign it to Danny the driver. Okay, now you'll see that Danny is no longer in. Now he is out. It tells you how many minutes he's out, so far 0, and it tells you how many orders he has with him. Okay, now if I go to the out tab, it'll show me what's out. And it says, so if I have like 3 drivers and they like, you know, this guy has 3 orders, this one has 2, it'll list them all. It'll say who has it and when they left and all of that. Okay, so let's go back over here quick. So this is here in the settings where it says auto assign deliveries to. If you have somebody in here, right? You see how it pulls up driver? If it has him in here, it will bypass that whole dispatch screen. There's no dispatch. Like it automatically assigns it to him if he's clocked in. So if you want the dispatch, don't auto assign the driver. Okay, so now he's out. And you can, you know, select it and say he's back now. You can also we'll actually go over this in another example. So we just want to say, like, it says he's been out for 1 minute, now he's back. Yep, you're like, yes, he's back. He's returned at, you know, there. Now, wait, did I not do it right? What did I do? Driver return. There we go. What am I did something wrong here. Oops, did I like edit the order first? I might have. This is still listing him as out. Oh, I sent him back out. That's why it's doing that. I apologize. We'll come back and clock him back in a minute. I didn't know I had hit out again, so it's like he came back and left. Because you're again running the dispatch. So now we are going to let's do a like a counter order, like a pickup. I'm not going to hit edit again. Okay, so now we're going to do a counter order. Let's get some wings and some mozzarella sticks. Okay. So it's going to ask you dine in or to go. So let's mark this to go first. And, Joe is picking this up. Okay, so there we go. Now Joe is picking up his order. Okay, let's say Joe calls back. Here's Joe's order. He's like, listen, I thought I was going to have time to pick it up. I do not have time to pick it up. Can you guys deliver it? You just, whatever order it was, now you can move it to delivery. Ugh, why have I had this setting? It's all wrong. Okay. Oh my gosh. I hate when I do this. All right, so counter. I'm just not able to do it. Is it the permissions? I'm sorry. Apologize. Because I've done this 1,000 times. You can move it to dining. Yes, you can do it to a dining room. Okay, there it's moved.
I thought you can only take a takeout order and move it to delivery, and from delivery
That's
to
what I
takeout.
did.
I don't think.
That's what I was.
Okay.
That's what I was doing is a takeout. Oh, but I
You did
did it on
counter.
the counter. Yeah, you're right. Well, Florida.
Sorry, I apologize.
No,
I
please. Like I said, this, and like I do these so much, and I'm trying to like customize yours a bit, and I'm not like because we have a lot to do in a very short time. So you're right. Counter and the pickup
So counter space, you just treat it like it's
is a
like quick
cash
set.
out. Yep. So the pickup, I should have done takeout. So, once you can move it the counter to dining, yes, like that's like a for here to go. You're right. Apologies. I was someone calling in to do instead of doing the counter, like I was giving the scenario for a call in because I said he called back and said I can't pick it up, but I did counter instead of pick up. So let's do the same scenario. Apologies. And let's now it gives us a chance to search by the name because I think I already entered it. Maybe. Yep. We'll select this customer, and this is now what this guy is getting. Oh, there we go. Now here's Joe's delivery. Um, I don't want to do that. And so you can take this and sign it out. Now it's being delivered. 10 drivers. Now Danny's in. This one's out, and he has 1. Okay. Where are we? So we did delivery, the dispatch. Now we can do the counter example. Let's do some loyalty. I don't remember if we set up a loyalty one. I know we set up a local gift card. So let's set up a loyalty. We're gonna call the loyalty. Let's just do let's do Mickey. Oh, it is already in here. Let's see it. Let me see if I can search it. Let's cancel this because it looked like it recognized the name. Search by first name. There we go. Okay, and let's check his loyalty points. Let's do points, and let's just add a whole bunch of points just to make sure. So he has. Oh, that's cool. So he has 7 visits. He has a whole bunch of loyalty points. Like he had a bunch before I added the 500. And his point redemption, remember the 2 loyalty options that we had set up when we did the adjustments day is he gets a free soda or a free appetizer. So that's where you can print the chit also. And so you can also use the points or visits from here. So the number of points to redeem, let's say 100, and then it's going to, adjust it, like manually adjust. But let's do it on a, let me just make sure which beverage is set up for the loyalty. And this will be a good refresher on how to set those up as well. So okay. So this one qualifies, that one doesn't. No. So you see, the only thing they have set up for the loyalty free is this fountain. So if we wanted to say add, the can of Coke to this, you could just add this to the loyalty free soda. It's going to be down here somewhere. There we go. And let's save that. And for the appetizers, let's see which one. Do they have any set up? Okay, so we're just going to do the mozzarella sticks as the loyalty-free appetizer. Okay, save. And now with the loyalty, we can allow duplicate, enable scans without order. The setup, these are the little notifications. And then you have your 2 sets here, just to kind of recap that. Okay. And let's pop over to the adjustments for the loyalty free appetizer. You don't have like any set amounts. It's just your point redemption of 200 points. It is a seating or super like a check, like the set check seating super adjustment. Like you could have it be item only, you know? Um, and it is a discount type rather than like a 2-for-1. And the percentage rather than a fixed amount is 100%. It's active. And this is not a 2-for-1. So let's go back here. And let's do this one as a counter order. And we're gonna order the appetizer. I think it was the mozzarella sticks and the beverage. We're just gonna do the fountain soda. And, we'll order a couple extra things. So when they're picking it up, now, you have a couple buttons here. So you can this is where you're going to assign or like swipe their loyalty card number. I don't have their card number, so I want to search by first name. And then here we go. I'm going to select that customer for the loyalty. And I have it set to where it's for you pick whatever item it is. So they want to use, so he's got to be a VIP. I'll show you that setting too, so where he gets 10% off. But the mozzarella sticks, it comes up here, it qualifies for the loyalty free. Now the soda, you could do the same thing. It's going to show up here that this qualifies for his loyalty free soda. The loyalties don't automatically set because they might not want to use all of their loyalty points on this. They might, it's up to them what they want to use on their loyalty. So I think I might have done this one too. Yeah, he can do that one as well. This is the only thing that doesn't qualify for loyalty. So now you're done. This is his new cost, and now he's paying in cash. Okay, so there he goes for that. And now let's go peek at his, did I hit the wrong button? There we go. Let's go peek at his loyalty, search by name, and see what his loyalty looks like now. So now we have 8 visits, and here's his new point total. You can, again, print this out. Now you can also view it like this, and now you have his visits. This is like, you know, like his profile, he's ordered this how many times. So you kind of have like an idea of his favorites, that kind of thing. So there is a lot of information in the loyalty section. You know, this is his number, and you know, this is him, like customer number 10. This is his, you know, RFID or card number. Because a lot of times they're gonna have either like a dongle or a loyalty card. You know, that's what those are. Um, with this, you know, making it manual, this was something that I entered in. And like I said, this one's cool because it tells you everything, you know, he's ordered. Okay, so that is the loyalty using the counter. You can create them manually, and you can, you know, set them up, use them. And let's go show the VIP thing because it did pop up, that VIP. So let's go into loyalty in customers. Apologies. So yeah, you see this here? Mickey, loyalty number 9292, so that is the correct one. Is set as a VIP where he gets an automatic discount of 10%. That's why as soon as I applied it to him, poof, he had that 10% off. These are all the other loyalties that are in here. I don't know if anybody else is set up automatically. Okay, well, Mickey is, Minnie should be set up as an auto discount. But that's how those work. We signed. Don't forget though, when you're saying like when you are setting up the loyalty for like a specific item free, you do have to go into the item builder and select it here from adjustments, you know, what qualifies. So they might only be able to get the mozzarella balls or the mozzarella sticks and the rice balls, but not any of the wings, that kind of thing. Okay, so we did takeout, we did delivery, we did dispatch, we did counter, wrong once, right the next time. Apologies. Okay, so okay, perfect. We are actually right on time. Like I said, we had a bunch of information to do today. So we did those scenarios. Okay, so these are some things. This is where we want to go over a couple things. You don't want to do installs, you know, when there might not be, you know, your availability over the weekend, you know. So, I mean, if you plan on being around all weekend, like, and they're, you know, it's not like super critical for them. Like, if it's a super busy place, it's busy on the weekends, your best bet is to not do the install on a Friday. A lot of emphasis on this next one. It is very good to set up and program in office rather than on site. That way you can, you know, get all your programming the way you want. You can test it. You can make sure all your settings have the end result of what is expected. You don't want to get there and then do the setup, have things not behave as you expected them because of programming, and then be, you know, kind of on your heels trying to figure out what slight adjustment you have to make. It says don't delete the defaults. We already kind of went over that. Same thing with the codes. Back up the original. Okay, this is actually super important. We don't necessarily do custom template support. Okay, so we do help. If you need something, we'll try to help you find it or help you, you know, figure out where to do all the customizations. But if it comes to like some, you know, extremely customized template that you had already programmed for something, and then you were going to modify it and it got messed up, if you have not done a backup of your original template file before you started modifying it, all we can do is send you the default again, and that's going to take away any modifications you've done. So always make sure to back it up. It's, here, like it's in your folders, like in your SoftTouch folder, there's one that says templates, and that's where they all are. It says here, make sure that the restaurant has a local backup if they're not using a redundancy. Just always use a redundancy. It's really important, because if their server ever goes down, the local backup's not going to help. The local backup's not going to turn the next station into like a full, server where it's stored everything up to the second. So it's just best practice to always have the redundancy. We went over that on day one. And, some people recommend the dial backup for credit cards. And that's just more personal preference in how you, set up with your processing. All right, so now we're going to dive into the reports. Let's Okay, so, and I know we kind of did this, we touched on this the other day, like looking at the reports. So I'm going to go in and, let me just look at how we left the settings the other day, though. We left it on split and split. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to order that, and the manager is going to do the same. Send. Okay, and now let's cash it out. Let's set up the pre-tip so that it shows up. Enter, and we'll do Visa. Okay. All right, now let's go look at the reports. You can do reports from here or from SoftTouch. I know we went over kind of both. In the reports, there are a bunch of different kinds. When somebody wants, like I just had somebody ask, the other day, they wanted a report that showed this, and this. They want it customized. But meanwhile, they already had the report. They just didn't know that that's what the report was, what they were looking for. And what they were looking for is a super department report. So I'm going to pull this back to the 12th, because I am not sure how many times I've batched it out between now and then, or done the Z out. So now you also can say here if it's, gross or not. I'm just going to leave it as gross. And now what this is going to do, I haven't done much. I've only done the food super department. What this is going to do is it's going to show you all of the departments that had sales, how much, and what percentage of the total. Okay. So, with the super departments that you have set up, in here in your item builder, so far everything I've done is like here under the food super department. Beverage, you see, this is why, because you've seen me order beverages, right? And here's why. The beverages doesn't have anything attached to it. The catering, I haven't ordered any catering, and the food, the way this demo is set up, has beverages in there also. Okay, and so when it's set up like this, that's the report that you're going to get out. Now, if I had had this, like again, this is a demo database. If I had had this set up, just more in line with the actual scenario. Let's say I had a bar super department. I had a food super department, and the food super department included beverages, but the beverages were non-alcoholic. All the alcoholic beverages were from the bar super department. And then, of course, if you have catering or a small shop, you have those set up. And when you're pulling the super department report, then it's going to divide it all out and you're going to actually see. Okay. Now, when you're looking at the reports, you can also do it by family. So this is where, like, if you wanted to see, like, the way you have it set up, let's say you have it up food, and then here food, and if you want to actually break it down even further and show it by family, like how much, appetizers, how much pizza, how much this, you would just pull those separate reports, but those would all be sales reports. The totals report, like at the end of the day, like your PDT report, like this one, like your X report, this is going to be like the totals for the day. This is going to give you your, paid in and paid out, obviously your refund report, your security reports you get on the security tab, but you do have some reports that would be considered security, like your voided items and your check adjustments. You will often see this report here being used. I use this one quite a bit, the check detail report. In fact, like this is the one that we would use to look at what we just did to show that it's going to be the last one. Let's look at last page. Yep, so this is the one where you're going to see again the example of how the split comes out, where I got 50% credit for the sale and the tip. Now, and I purposely started the check as this, but Melissa, quote, quote, Melissa's the one who cashed it out. You see, where it says the payment name was taken by Melissa, even though I opened the check. So I opened the check, she closed the check, we split the sale credits, the sale numbers and the tip. Now, let's go look at, okay, you do have here, you do have some things that you can do as far as report configuration and the report editor. These we don't natively support. These are more advanced settings, things that you, if you, more on the developer side, like these are some things that you can configure. There's some more here in the import export that are, just like I said, they're just a little bit more advanced. You do have to get in here to do some things with, like, say, dashboard. You would set up certain things. The instructions are very clear, tells you exactly step by step what to do in order for certain reports to update to the dashboard, to update those charts. So, and a lot of times I do see that where somebody will say, like, okay, I have, dashboard, I get the reports, but the dashboard's not working. And it's because they haven't done the backup, like they haven't done this section for the dashboard to connect and, refresh and send the report. And so this is, but like that, you'll have like specific instructions. You have the edit tab. So this is gonna, append the date to the, the file name, adding documentation, you can, create the XTML, like all of these. And let's see, you have the export builder. This again is more designed for advanced users. Now, not saying you can't, try to play around with it and see, what you can build, but I wouldn't do that in a live environment, and you don't want to do it with a without practicing quite a bit or learning about, because this is all SQL database stuff. So, and we do not provide support for this at all. The data, like the ST dash stuff, like where you're trying to get the dashboards to sync up, we can help you with that, but the custom export builder, we do not. The manual export, this one's a little bit easier. You can select what you want to filter, and it pops up. Then you can use the export wizard to export the data. So, I mean, this section's just, like I said, you would go in here to do your, dashboard setup, to configure the dashboard if they have, mobile dash, as a service. But other than that, you want to make sure you are, more advanced user if you're going to poke around in there. So one other thing we have to go over, and this is we went over our closeout procedures, like we went over how they look. We're going to actually do them in a moment. But we're going to look at your Z out settings, because that's what we're getting ready to do. Now, you have your reset check on Z. Now, it's not going to reset the check number if you have any open checks. Okay, so if you have it set up where you can do a closeout and leave checks open, it's not going to reset the check numbers. You can clear the drawers that were assigned on the Z out. It kind of resets them. Shut down and power off all the client machines on Z. This one's not very often used. This is where you set it to automatically print the Z report, or the status of the Z report, like Z success. And this is where it prints off the Z report. You can also have it undo all 86 items. You would set this if it's a 24-hour operation. This is where you set it where you are allowed to keep people clocked in at the Z. And here you can disable the paid out tips printout. This is where you tell it what kind of printer you have. Like wherever you have the Z out program to print, you do have to tell it if it's a normal printer or a receipt printer. Now, the stop Z, this is designed to help accidental Z outs. So it does not let you run the Z between those two times. And it just keeps you from Zing out until a future date. So I guess if like I'm not sure why somebody would say they're not in town or they don't want someone Zing out until they get back. I have no idea why they would not want to Z out every day.
A good customer, what does is like they take 2 weeks off and they don't want the paper constantly printing out the Z report. So what they do is they shut it off at a future time and saying, okay,
Oh, like,
from
so
this
they're
date to
not
this
even
date,
doing
I don't want it.
sales.
Right. They're not even open.
Gotcha. I thought, I was like, I'm not sure why I would not want to Z out, but that makes sense. Thank you. I didn't think about the whole business shutting down for weeks. All right, or even days, whatnot, but that makes sense. So they would have to set that like each time, like if they were, say, closed Sunday and Monday and they didn't want that to do, they'd have to go in here and set it each time. Because they would just set it here, I would think, instead of there. They would just say Z out this, and then just not on, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I suppose if they're gone for a week, that would make more sense. Okay, so automatically Zing out, you can enable here, then you tell it when on every day. The automatic Z warning is obviously about the tips. If you send out the Z and the system batches out and you did not enter all the tips, you can't unthrow a stone. The only thing you can do at that point is call the processor and have them rekey the tips, and you'll have to get all the receipts together and send them the receipts, however the processor does it, but it is a process. So there is always this warning if you're going to enable the Z out, and it's going to warn you that you have to complete all the steps and tasks, which is going to include doing the tips. So that's that for the Z out, you know, how that works. Now, let's look at the credit card logs. I just want to look at all this stuff before we actually do the Z out and show you like the closeout procedure. So let's go into hardware on the credit card logs. So if you have enabled for offline transactions, this is where if like they lose internet, and you're not getting the response from the bank. Offline is going to be offline. No response from the bank means no authorization provided. So there is the risk in that, but this is where they are going to be. So you'll have your unresolved transactions. You hit resolve. They don't give full credit card numbers here. No longer accessible, but the button just tells you that. Your daily exception log is going to be all the credit card errors you had, like if you had any. This is your open transactions. Again, it's not going to show the full credit card number. This will be your paid in and paid out, and any refunds. Again, like these are all your unresolved transactions. So basically all the types of transactions, the processing time, your paid in, paid outs during that time, and the refunds during that time. Now in financials, let's look at the journal view. I know that we've looked at this a couple times inside SoftTouch. So it's showing like the, you know, the cash in, cash out, the, you know, these are all the sales. So it's not showing a cash in and cash out on here because it's not the sale. The journal is going to show the cash in and cash out. The sales report is not, because this is only showing checks, like actual sales. And it has your totals here. This one you can actually export. You can export this to Excel, you know, a few different methods. I use Excel all the time because this one's, I actually like this one, like this in here, this sales report, because you can make some, you know, like you can customize this a bit, you know. You can sort it out. You can take a look at, you can set the day and, you know, just look at your counter orders. Okay. You know, like it's got a lot of maneuverability. So if you have somebody who's really like to deep dive into the numbers, I would always show them this. Like, I love this report. I'm in here all the time and I am definitely a numbers person. Now, okay, so we did the sale. Okay, I don't know if we went over this. We might have. The chalkboard and the specials. You know, this would be your chalkboard message, and then you can write those specials. This is going to be what is on like the main screen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just restart real quick. So here we are. you've got the chalkboard, the specials, that alerts tab I showed you. Here's all the things that were 86. I'm sure this back office message is going to be like some PCI notice, because of the way my system is set up with no credit card EMV and no credit card processing. So here's the SoftTouch message. Yeah, it's going to see a PADSS, a compliance message. I knew. Yeah. So that, though, your chalkboard and specials, like if I could change to whatever this is, put a message for the staff, like, whatever you want. This is where you set that up. All right, so now let's do the closeout. And then after that, we will be perfectly on time. We'll do the closeout, then the questions. So, all right, let's see who we have punched in. All right, so we have all of these people punched in. So everybody needs to do their closeout. Now watch what is going to happen if they try to Z out without, nobody's done anything. Okay. So right off the bat, as soon as I hit this, it says you've got open tips, you've got 3 open checks, you've got 2 open banks, 2 employees are not paid, and you got 5 people clocked in. So there's a lot you got to do before you do this. So it's going to kind of tell you what you need to do. So rather than hit resolve on all of these, because you can, if I say open tips, it's going to take me to that page. If I say open checks, it's going to show me the checks. So instead of having it be tedious like that, we're just going to exit the Z. We'll start with, I think this is the driver. Nope. That's the driver. Okay, so we're going to go through, like we're him, where I'm logged in as him. And I am going to do my closeout. I want to close out my shift and my till. Yes. Total cash tips, let's say $5. The closeout is complete. You want to clock out now. Now for him, I'm just going to say yes. Okay, so now he's clocked out. Now we have the counter. Oh, that's the server. Now she might be the one with the open checks. Nope. Let's go verify my open checks. Open checks and sales, nothing. Okay, perfect. So it's not her. So we're going to do her closeout. I want to close out the shift. Total tips, we'll give her $5 too. Okay, the total cash you collected was 0. The total cash you should have 0. Your over and under amount is 0. Now, this is where, you see how it says reason? Okay, let's change this. Say, oh, nope, that's right. Not right. I did have $1. Okay, now it says you were over $1. Why? You can say, whatever this is. Let's just change that back to 0.
Are they able to make it so that, like, if it's over under, like, it's like some places don't count change, so sometimes their drawer is off, $4 to $6.
Hmm?
Is there a way to set it so that they can still close out, or they have to have
I
like
can close out. No, I can. I'm going to be able to close out here. Let's say she's under. We'll do it with somebody else. She didn't have any orders at all, so let's just process her as is. And then, yeah, we're going to clock her out. Let's do that with someone who had checks. Like someone who actually has a balance. So she has none. Oh, she does have an open check. So we do need to edit this order. Let's cash it out. And this is perfect. So we'll enter this as cash. Okay. And now she has no open checks. Oh, yeah. Okay. No. And now open tips. Okay. So now we're going to go do her closeout. Close out her shift and her till. Do you want to do your closeout now? Yes. Let's say again she got $5. Yes. Okay. So hers is set up. We're gonna pop over here, right? Just quick and show you the difference. Susie's we had set up where she needs to have all three of these, right? Cassie the cashier, we had it set up to where she did not need to do the amount, right? So now I'm the one checking, like this is like I'm just awaiting this for the drop, okay? So I can either commit it or you just say commit. Let's say I'm going to commit this one, right? So let's say I'm going to change this one to where it's under, okay? So let's say I have to check this one before I drop it, and I'm going to say like, okay, there's only 850, so now they're under, okay? I can pick a reason or not, right? And then I just hit process. It doesn't stop you from processing it. It just notifies you that it was not correct. It wasn't what the tally was supposed to be. So if you have a place that allows that sort of, say, slippage, it's no problem. Okay. Now, and then this one, okay, also we're just going to process that done. Okay, so now those two are done. Let's go back in here and now see, it'll show again, but now it's going to be less. Now I don't have 5 people or 4 people clocked in. I have less people clocked in. So let's go in open checks. Okay, they're both mine. All right, so edit order. We will can't. Oh, this is just open. And send. Okay. And these are both the delivery orders. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. All right. So let's go into dispatch. Oh, yeah. They've been out for 45 minutes. Okay. Ew. The devil's pizza. Let's see, what was this one? I didn't want to have to deliver it and then bring it back. So now, okay, we still have one open check. All right, so let's edit the order and we'll just void it out. Your food was prepared wrong. Okay, and now I'm going to show you in the security log. So that actually worked out good. All right, so now Now I have less things. 1 tip employee, 2 people clocked in. This is probably like me and I think who's left now? The manager. So let's exit that. We'll log in as, all right, now granted, one person's not going to be doing all this. Everyone's going to be doing their own closeout. Oh, okay, good. So she doesn't have anything. Yes, close out the shift. Yep, 0. Here we go. Yes, close out. Clock out. Total cash tips, I get $5 too. Do you want to clock out now? I'm going to say no because I still have to do the Z out. So now I have my business closeout. See, there's no more things it says I have to do. I've completed it all. Okay? And this is what it's going to look like if you're ready to Z out. So I'm going to continue with the process. It's going to give you this warning. And then you just hit finalize. It's going to verify that now you're going to, this is what you really want to do. Yes. Now you see up here, it's still showing the 21st in a second. It's going to flip to the 22nd. There you go. The reason it turned red is because it's seeing my system time and it knows it's not the same. So it's going to be red if it's not correct, but in this case, it's fine because that is that. Let's go look at that security report again, because I know we looked, oops, I know we looked at, let me just shut this down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Here you're going to see that I had, back office access. There was an override, a void. You see where I voided the item. Like you're going to see all of the things that were logged because of my job type. And like, who did it? You're going to see all of the, you can group it, like this is another one of the logs that you have, more of a detailed view. Like, so let's say I'm like, okay, what's this? Let's say there was like a refund or something, and I want to look at what was going on there. I can see the void, and I can go over to the detail and look, So it'll give me the check number, where I, what station, all of that. So now we went over a lot of information today. We do have enough time to do the quiz. But before we start that, do you have any questions about what we went over today?
I think I just answered my own question by looking at it. I'm all set.
Okay. Anybody else?
Can you go over just splitting a check one more time?
Absolutely. Which way? Splitting the check, splitting the payment, splitting by seat.
Yeah,
How do you
just
want
like how you get into that screen where you can move everything
to?
around.
Gotcha. Oh, like where you're doing it manually.
Yep.
Got it. All right. So we got 3 people. Okay. So I just sent it. So you can do it from here. And you just hit split. And say, do you want to split the check or combine? Yes. Okay, so now I have 3 people. So I want 3. So I'm like, okay, she got the water and she got the fountain soda.
You just click it and drag it. That's it.
Well, you don't even drag. You just click what you want to move. You don't have to drag, like you don't have to hold it down, right? 'Cause
Gotcha.
it makes it easier for people with a touch screen. They're not swiping because then, if you lose contact, it drops it where you don't want it. You just select what you want to move and touch where you want it to go. Because then I
Okay.
can be like, oh, wait, the lady with the bottled water had the signature salad, because now I'm moving stuff back. Oops. There we go.
Now, when one person wants to cash out, like say one of these people is leaving, that's why they had you split this up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you would just select that check and then hit cash out because now there's 3 separate checks basically, right?
Yep. Well, yes. How did you say? Like, you want me to do what again? I'm sorry.
So if you have a couple different checks and say one of the people wants to leave, you can just cash them out and leave the rest
Yes.
open, correct? Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. So, perfect. We're done. This is what I did was hit send. You could, if they're ready to go, all 3 of them, you could print it at this point. But let's just, for your example, let's just say they're not. Yes, I want to split it. Right. So now you see how it changed and now it says 3. So let's say this one is ready to go. You just hit cash out on hers. And let's say she gave you a Visa. And there you go. And there. That's it. Now there's only 2 people there.
Okay. That's different. That's something that, I was just like thinking about things that it does that our other main system, Clover, doesn't do. So
If they split checks, one person can't leave and the other people stay.
no, you have to move it to like a whole new check. It's a process.
Moved
It's
it
not
to a new
simple like
check.
this where you can take cash out. You have to literally like move both those items onto a whole new check and
Well, that's kind of what we just did a little bit, but it's just a very easy process.
yeah, I was gonna say the process is just so much easier, that's all.
Yeah, like this, let's say we have a couple people and, for some reason they're eating pints of soup. Okay, and now it sounds like, and, like let's say it's almost like they're doing a split payment where both of them have to go. But like even if I do a split payment, like watch this. Okay, let's say I'm doing a split payment, right? Because they just handed you 2 credit cards. They're gonna cash out, right? So here's the first person. Let's say she uses a Visa, okay, and I hit enter. Um, if I just get out of here at that point, the other person's $9 is still just sitting there. The one person already paid, and I just have a balance remaining. So it could be like that also. You know what I mean? So, and if I cancel this, because I just wanted to show you that screen. Oh, I never tried this. This is actually interesting. Let me see what happens if I order more. Yeah, it just upped her balance. Now it's just on her. It's just raising her balance. The total check is there, but her amount is just going to continue to go up because this person already paid and left apparently. So now she pays with a Visa too. And this is check number 105. So let's go look at that one just to see what that looked like. Yeah, it just gives you the total. Yeah, that's exactly me look at this. Let's go look at it a different way. It's going to be in the, here it is, right? Like, and the reason I wanted to show you this is because this is this is why it's interesting kind of to me. Maybe I'm a nerd. But you see how this one did split it up into 3 checks. The reason it skipped 102 is because I deleted that one check. So it's 100, 103, and 104. Those are the 3 checks. This is the one with the split payment. This has got 2 payments on it, but it's closed. This is a split check where it did separate it into 3. But even with the split payment, if one person doesn't leave and we just leave their balance running, it's, it's almost like a tab, like you just have an open balance on that same check. So one person can pay their portion and leave, and the other ones can stay. It just still sits there on your, dining. It just showed her sitting here with a balance. Now, now let's say these guys leave too. Anybody else? That was a good one. Anybody else before I shut this down? We got 12 minutes for the test. I'm still going to email it out to you guys because I don't think we're going to get through the whole thing in 12 minutes.
Yeah, and I actually have to go to a doctor's appointment.
Right.
So if you can, I'll take it. I just won't be able to take it from the session.
The funny thing is actually the first 2 questions are about splitting. So we already did that.
But if you can send me the test, I have to run.
Can you?
Yeah.
Can you show us how to do the how to add a tip to those, like from the SoftTouch system? Or did you already shut it down?
Yeah, but it's a 1 button open. I did close them out, but I didn't close out. I didn't go do her closeout. Whoever, I forgot who I logged in as, but she did not do her closeout. So those checks are probably still just sitting there, right here. So here's her open tips. So these are all the people that paid with card.
Yep.
And so I can adjust the tip on, so that was like 2, like one of them, I did not select anything. I just had adjust a tip. So it's going to ask me to enter which one. Okay.
Right.
The other one, I picked it. I just clicked on the thing and it automatically says, okay, what do you want for this one? So I'm just saying like $5. Yep. Okay. And now it's going to run right through. I don't have to keep doing them all, but if I'm taking a second and I'm doing them, I might as well, right? But they don't have to. It doesn't affect the other ones. Okay. And now here's my last one. Yep. Boom, done. And then I can declare my cash ones. People do that. Now, do this. I'm going to mail it out to you, email it out, because we don't have time to cover it all. But what I am going to do is we'll take these last 10 minutes and we'll cover some things that maybe we want to look at. Okay, so in delivery mode, let's do that. 561 555 1212. Pretty sure I made that. Yes. Okay, so that is them. When I hit select, here we go. Let's do a slice of cheese. What would I hit if they were going to give me the credit card over the phone?
You still hit the cash out, right? The go to payments.
I would hit payments. Right. You don't hit payments if they're paying cash. If they're paying cash, you hit send. So if you're not taking the only time you hit payment is if they're giving you a payment right now. That's why you don't see a cash out here. Okay? If they're if they're giving you, because this is a delivery order, they're calling up on the phone. So we're not sending it to the kitchen, like we're figuring out how they're going to pay before we send it to the kitchen, whereas normally you're doing that after, right? With
Right.
this, you're doing, okay, is this going to be, card or cash? And if they say card, you hit payments. If they say cash, you're like, okay, we're not doing the payment now. I'm just going to send it to the kitchen.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. All right. So that is okay. So now for this example, we're going to go peek at back office, and we are going to be at tills. Okay. What is the difference between a assignable or permanent till? Actually, this is actually going to be here also. Let me just not, I don't want to.
Yeah, it's going to be actually under
Yeah,
the
you're going to be here.
employees.
So the permanent till is for one draw, one
I
person.
was doing, yeah, like I was doing, we want to do, okay, so first let me do the first question because there's two questions here. What's the difference between the active and, like I went to this section and then asked the wrong question. What's the difference between an active, or no, I'm not, floating and manual shared? That's the one. Which
Floating
is the
goes to,
difference between floating and manual?
floating is for the person that is assigned to a server, and manual is shared for a draw.
Yes. So you don't use floating and manual together. Manual shared is more than one person. Floating is not. All right, and so now here, the difference between the assignable and the permanent. Anybody?
Well, if you don't mind me,
Oh, I didn't know you
I'll
were
answer
asking a
it.
question. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'll answer it. Assignable basically means that when they first log in, they can be assigned a certain till based on the station and what the till is assigned to. Doesn't mean that, okay, permanent means as soon as they log in, that till is assigned to them no matter what. So a nice function is if you have 3 bars, and they could be, depending on which bar they go to, they would want assignable. If they only have 1 bar and it's a bartender, assigned till or permanently assigned is better because they can log in and it's automatically assigned to them.
Gotcha.
Perfect. I mean, and in the name, assignable and permanent. So, oh, and we only did this 1 or 2 times. But I think we'll remember because I just did it. How do you reopen a closed check?
How many ways do you want?
I know, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, you can go to history under if you're under the employee, you can click the check and say reopen. You can go under all checks view and hit it there and hit.
Okay, let's go slower
And
because I want to
check
show
it.
some of these guys. Okay, so I definitely cashed this one out.
You can hit reopen.
Okay, now the second way he said was your all checks overview. From here, the manager can reopen any of them. Okay, so let's take one. And reopen it and adjust the payment type. Okay? So I'm going to take this one and say, yeah, I didn't want to do that. So I just want to, you could void all of them, or let's just do this one. Void tender. Are you sure you want to void this payment? Yes. And say, I gave you a Visa, but I really should have given you my MasterCard. There you go. So now it's closed again, but we reopened it and adjusted the payment method. Okay, so that's two ways to open a check. The server, like whoever it is, server can also go into their open checks, and you have, oh no, I'm sorry, not your open checks, your
No, it's my checks.
your
Equipment,
my
I think.
checks. And
Then you go to
you would do the all my checks. You can do it from the all my checks here. Just keeping in mind, sometimes if you have an employee doing that, you have to make sure that their parameters will allow it. So this would be affected. Maybe not mine because I'm logged in as the admin, but just to keep in mind, you can have it where if they're going to edit a check or a check that's already cashed out and then edit it, you can have that be, something that an override is necessary for. Okay, let's do some back office stuff instead, because we just spent a little bit in front office. Let's go back into item builder. If I was here and I was, setting up and, there's salad dressings, but then we have large salad dressings for the big salads, and that's a different price. How would I quickly copy this whole thing to make it large instead of small and put in a different price?
You highlight all of them.
Oh. You would hit the plus, the little box on the top where it says plus, and you would clone all of them.
You would use your node duplicator. And so I'm replacing nothing with the word large because there's no word that says small. Okay?
Where was that button again? Can you put your mouse on that again?
Right, it's right here. Node.
It looks like a little page with two dots.
Yeah, it's node duplicator. Remember, and this is going to be like a refresh. This was, I believe, day 2. Day 1? We went over menus? I thought it was on day 2. Maybe we did some of it on day 2.
It was day 2.
But so copy and paste is different than duplicating. With a copy paste, it is doing exactly what it sounds like. Copy and pasting. With duplicating, you're kind of making a whole copy, but you can make these changes. So let's say I want to replace, it doesn't say anything, but I want to replace nothing with the word large. Okay, so it's giving you a preview of what it's going to be now down here. Okay, and I want the button to also say large, and I want the print name to also say large, and the receipt name can just stay the same as salad dressing. That's fine. I don't care about the receipt saying large, right? Now, do I want it to copy prices? No, because why I'm doing this is specifically to change the price. You would do this with left side, right side on a pizza, like you do the toppings one time, and then you can take that one group that you just made and apply it to all the pizzas that are editable for either small, medium, large, left, right, but you don't have to do it 57 times. You can do it one time and then use the duplicator to make the other, modifications that you want. So that's how you would quickly take a group and make a whole new group out of that group. And then if I wanted to adjust the cost, then what I do? Let's say I want to adjust the cost. Now what?
Just on that one item?
Nope.
You would want to just hit pricing. Oh, hit the group and then hit the U on the top, which is the updater node.
So the group
and then you would
here.
hit adjust. Yep. If you want to adjust that price, all of them.
Okay.
Then you can hit update price.
Update. You can say, I always do this just as a double, update existing and add if none exist. I want to update the price. And let's say the new price is $1. Okay. And, all day, right? And then hit what? This?
Okay.
Okay.
And now there we go. They're all priced as $1. That's why you make it. That's the quick way. We already did the reports. We did transfer checks. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a good, not like that's an overview. A lot of the other questions are going to kind of relate to topics that we already discussed. I can show you another quick one. Remember how I told you we don't, modifiers are here. You don't really tell it how to behave. You see how this, it's not, it just doesn't, it doesn't have any behavior, like attributes to it. But if I put it on the salad itself, now I tell it whether it's modify, if it's manual or not. So let's say a Caesar already comes with Caesar dressing. So this is actually a manual modifier where if you have like a normal salad, you have to pick a dressing. So it's the same modifier, like, well, those two are not. But you can have the same modifier group. Like, okay, I don't know why they did that. So for example, this one, I can make this one forced if I want. And then this one is not forced. So you can have the same modifier group in the same section in the salads, but they're behaving differently based on how, because you don't tell the modifier group how to behave until you add it to an item. So you can have them all be the same, but you don't have to. Okay. So we'll have the recording of this sent out, and I'm going to send out the quiz without the answers.
Would you like the bribe ahead of time, or would you like us to just send it in?
Oh, look it. I like, hey, that's up to you. If you want to, bribe ahead of time for a good score, you can just send it along with your answers. I'll know based on the bribe how serious you are about a good score. So like say Dunkin'
So the
Donuts,
bottom of this test, what you're saying is going to have your Venmo signature on it.
yeah. That or, like a Starbucks gift card number that is you're obviously looking for an A plus. I'm just joking. But yeah, no, just send it. You could, CC Joe on it if you're feeling froggy, and you're real confident in your answers. But just know I do not go through it and like I look through them, of course. But if your answers are a lot wrong, we're just gonna, cover the things that you need a recap on. You're not gonna be like, oh, you get an F, so you don't have a login. That is not what this is about. This is your adult way to gauge how much you need to still study. So if you go through it and your answers are, the long way around, because and as me and Paul have kind of highlighted a few times in here, that sometimes there's a few ways to do things, and how you approach it, how quickly you get it done, is often going to be, attuned to your knowledge of the system and the most efficient way. So there could be a way longer way to do something, but there also could be two other ways that have like, pretty much the same outcome, but it's a lot more efficient for you and them. So just so you know, it's not like a pass fail. No one's going to get an F and then have to sit on the side with no login. It's just going to be where you need to tighten up, because I'll hear it from tech support if you don't know what you're talking about. Or if you're
Okay.
calling them, just joking. They don't say that. They just take you to
They
the
say worse.
no, they take you to the knowledge base. Like that they'll be like, okay, so take a look at this, and then once you, if these troubleshooting steps, like they'll make sure you've gone through the normal troubleshooting steps, and then usually that will resolve it or highlight the area where there is an issue, and usually it's like a small setting. But does anybody have any final questions? It's kind of like a last call for alcohol, but I'm always here, so it's really not. You can always call me if you have questions. Especially that stuff like that. Like you can call me or email me if you have a question and you know it's not like a tech support thing. It's just like hey, how do I do this? Or, where do I find the answer for that? You can always call me for those things. That's why I'm here.
So we can call you while we're taking the test.
No. But you can use the knowledge base because I'll set you guys up your sign-ins. You can definitely, the knowledge base is there as your constant open book.
I would like to
I
take this time to say
recommend
I do
doing
take
it
bribes.
first without. I would recommend like running through it, see what you know, what you don't know. But yeah, the knowledge base doesn't go away once you're certified sage.
How long do we have to take the test?
It's not like that. I mean,
Is that
like I said, this is not, like I want you to send the results back to me. When I send out the quiz and they don't send it back, or I have to like say, hey, you never sent it, stuff like that, like that just tells me how serious or not serious you are, and Joe will know those things too. But is to gauge your understanding of the system. This is for you to be able to highlight where you need some more study, where you want to get on if you, are trying to work this out, the best tool that you can use while trying to do this test is a demo unit. Log on to a demo and you'll have the buttons. I'm a hands-on person. I need to be in there poking around. That's how you learn a lot that way. So and the knowledge base is also there. So I mean, it's Christmas. If you if you need a deadline, like let's say next week sometime before New Year's, should be long enough. I don't know if you're going out of town. Do you have a deadline in mind that you need? Like how much time you think you need?
that's plenty of time. I just was more or less trying to figure out, like, if I had a few days to kind of review things.
Of course. Of course. Of course. Any other
Perfect.
But
questions?
is this test fill in the blank, multiple choice, or is it
Fill in the blank.
whatever?
It's just a list of questions.
Are you gonna hate me if I do? I'm a little too detailed about my answers.
Oh my God, Paul, I think we're the same person. You should see the
Okay, just want to
spreadsheets
make
I do.
sure.
Like they make fun of me because I'm a numbers person, details everything. I map everything out. You should see, like I'm actually making a new knowledge base. Do you want to see it? You want a peek of it? I don't know if I can
Oh,
even do it.
absolutely.
Let me do this. And it's just like, and literally nobody said like, hey Nikki, do this, but I think it's so important. I love making new things for you guys because I feel like it's going to organize really, and I'm just making a few things and then I'm just going to pop it like onto the current one, So it's not going to be a separate place. You don't have to go anywhere new. It's just going to be a lot of content that's in a different format that for, me is more organized and it's going to have a dashboard where a lot of information is going to be there. So let me go give you a peek of it.